Hey, how you doing? This is Craig Beck from StopDrinkingExpert.com. Welcome on board the good ship Sobriety. Today's t-shirt, Sobriety, established 2022. If you want one of those, you can get one from the website. So welcome into a Saturday video. And today I want to talk about the horrific concept, the dreadful thought of dating while sober. How do you even do that? Is it even worth doing? Let's talk about that today. First of all, before we go any further, if you're new to the channel, you know the score, hit that subscribe button so that you get updates on when I make a new video. And don't forget, we go live every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for a kind of group therapy session. That makes it sound all a bit woke and boring. It's not. It's just a chance for us all to come together and remind each other that we're not on our own. We're doing this journey as a collective and stronger. We are stronger together. That's how I feel anyway. Just before we jump into this content, and I tell you about the secrets to sober dating, I had an email from a lady yesterday, and she was asking, how do I get started with your online course? Because I go to your website and there's no button to join up. There doesn't seem to be any way to get started. And you're quite right, there isn't. And there's a reason for that, because I don't want it to be easy. I don't want it to be too simple, because I want to know that you're in the right mindset before you get started in the course. A lot of people buy self-help books and then never even open them. It's a scary stat. It's like 80% of the people who buy a self-help book because they're worried about something in their life never even open it. And I don't want those people doing the course, because they drag my success rate down. They're not good ambassadors for the program. If anyone out there says, hey, you did that Craig Beck course, how did it go? They're going to say, well, I'm still drinking. The fact that they didn't even do the course probably won't get mentioned. So here's how it works. If you want to do the course, you have to attend my webinar first. And the webinar is kind of 40 minutes long, something like that. And I know that if you're still with me at the end of 40 minutes, you're the right person. And you're the sort of person that the course is probably going to work the best for. So that's how it works. So if you want to get started on my online course, the way to do it is bottom of the screen. You see it says the webinar address. Go and sign up for today's webinar. Attend, stay the full duration. Then you'll be given an invitation to join the course, and only then. Okay? So I hope that helps. Sober dating. What the hell? How? So I posted up on the website this morning in the Sobriety blog. You'll see if you click on it. First item up, sober dating. Don't even think about this until you see this. So I just wanted to run through some tips, because I know it's confusing for a lot of people. Even if you're not dating or planning to date, I think there's some useful information here on how you deal with other human beings and other drinkers. Because this is not just about finding a partner. This is about living as a sober person in an alcoholic world, because that's essentially what we do, isn't it, right? The whole world lives in this alcoholic bubble. And when you become sober, you're kind of treated like you're a leper. You're a bit of a weirdo. Now, just stop for a minute and think about that. We live in a world where the people who choose not to drink the poison are considered the weirdos. Bizarre, right? So the first thing I wanted to say, and this applies to everything, is don't hide your sobriety. Be proudly sober. Be passionately sober. Because, and when I used to coach guys on having self-confidence to, go and find the woman they want to be with, because a lot of guys are terrified of women. I know that sounds ridiculous, but, a lot of guys are very tough and very brave, very strong men, very successful in their careers, but their one Achilles heel, their weakness is they're terrified of rejection from women. So what I used to say to guys was, look, it doesn't matter what you're into. It doesn't matter what your hobby is. It could be the geekiest, least cool thing on planet Earth. But as long as you are passionate about it, and the other person you're talking to can sense your passion, then it's an attractive quality. Being a train spotter can be a big turnoff, or it can be sexy. That might sound ridiculous, but if someone says to you, what's your hobby? And you go, oh, I like train spotting. Geek, loser, right? But if someone says to you, what's your hobby? And you say, you know what I really love? And I've always loved it since I was a child. And I know it's not cool, but I get so excited about it because I'm into the engineering of it. I'm into the, the mechanics of it all. I just love train spotting. It's just, I'm crazy about it. Can you see the difference? It's the same hobby, but your passion becomes infectious. And that is true of sobriety as well. If someone says to you, do you want to drink? And you go, no, I don't drink. They're going to attack you. They're going to say, oh, go on, you can just have one. Come on, surely you can just have one drink. And you're going to be, browbeaten until you surrender often. But if someone says to you, do you want to drink? And you come back instantly with, why would I want to drink that stuff? No, thank you. Glass of water is fine for me. They're going to have to be very brave to attack that much passion, aren't they? And it also, you see how you come across differently. With the defensive, worried response, you come across as a bit of a loser, bit lacking in confidence. If you come back proudly and passionately about your sobriety, there's no judgment made on your character or your personality. It's an expression of strength. That holds true when it comes to dating. Don't hide your sobriety. What I mean by that is, if you're on internet dating, then mention it. Mention it in your profile. Say, I don't drink. One of the things I'm very passionate about. Now, you may wonder and worry, won't that turn people off? Won't some people see that and go, oh, I bet they're boring. Oh, I bet they're a bit of a party pooper. And the answer to that is yes, it will. It will turn people off. But it will turn off the sort of people that you don't want to meet generally. Because it's fine to date someone who drinks alcohol. Lightly, moderately, as they say. But trust me on this, if you start dating a problem drinker, it's only going to lead in heartache for you. You're going to either fall off the wagon or you're going to be miserable because you're watching a person you've grown to love kill themselves. You're going to watch them embarrass themselves. You're going to watch them do all this stuff that you decided was too painful so long ago that you left it behind, right? So I strongly advise you to avoid problem drinkers like the plague. And one thing to filter them out is to state quite clearly and concisely, I don't drink alcohol, ever. They don't like that. They see that in your profile, then it doesn't matter how big your boobs are, how big your muscles are, how nice your smile is. Even if you look like Brad Pitt, a problem drinker is going to look the other way because you're going to make them miserable, because you're going to highlight their problem, and you're probably going to take them to environments where they can't do their favorite thing, consume a drug, right? So don't hide your sobriety. If it's not an internet date, if someone has asked you out on a date, then tell them before the date that you don't drink. Say, hey, by the way, just so you know, I don't drink alcohol. Hope that's okay. One or two things will happen here. What they'll either say, yeah, that's no problem, that's fine. Neither do I, which is fantastic. That's the ultimate outcome. Or secondly, they won't believe you, or they'll think you're on some health kick, or you're on antibiotics or something like that. And they'll say, yeah, fine, no problem, with the intention of trying to persuade you. That's not so good. And then third, they'll cancel the date. And that might sound extreme. And you might think, do people really do that? They do. It's happened to me several times. I've had dates lined up with women. This was years ago, before I got married again. I've had dates lined up where an hour before the date, the woman in question has emailed me or text messaged me saying, hey, I just noticed on your profile, it says you don't drink alcohol. Is this true? And when I reply and say, yeah, it is true, they say, okay, look, this isn't going to work out. No point us meeting. And you might think, well, you must have been devastated, Craig. No, I was thrilled. That just saved me a couple of hours of my life. I don't want to be going out with people who can't even think about dating someone who doesn't drink. I don't want to go anywhere near those people. So point one, wear your sobriety with pride. Two, you don't need to explain yourself. All right. And this is a great deal to do with that passionate stuff I talked about earlier. If you come across as lacking confidence about your sobriety, they will push you. They'll say, why? They'll say, how do you enjoy Christmas? How do you go on vacation? My God, what would happen if you were on a flight and they gave you champagne? You just waste it. It doesn't compute to them, right? But just remember, you're not the one doing something weird. We just live in a world where it's the people who don't drink the poison who are considered to be a bit strange. You might even hear people say the ludicrous statement of, I don't trust people who don't drink. Think about that. What, you don't trust people who choose not to drink poison, but you do trust the people who do? I think this might be your problem and not mine. So remember, you don't have to defend your sobriety. You don't have to make stuff up. You don't have to lie to make them feel better. You don't have to say, oh, I'm just on a health kick, or I'm on tablets from the doctor, or this or that. You just need to say, I don't drink. And when they say why, have your answer ready to go. But don't get into a debate about it. Make that clear in your response. If they keep questioning you, say, is this all you want to talk about? Alcohol? That'll really shock them. The best response I've ever heard to why don't you drink alcohol is not, I'm an alcoholic, or I quit for health reasons, or anything like that. The best response I've ever heard is, I don't like the way it makes me feel. How good is that? There's no response to that. They can't go, well, can't you just have one drink? Why would I have one drink of something that I don't like the way it makes me feel? That doesn't make any sense, does it? By the way, I hope there's not too much building noise. They're building a massive luxury apartment block here at the marina, and they're working flat out like 7 days a week. So you don't need to explain yourself. State your sobriety. Be proud of it. Be passionate about it, and do not allow people to debate your sobriety. Think about it. That wouldn't happen with other drugs. You know, if you met someone and they told you that you'd recently given up heroin, you wouldn't say, why? Why? That seems strange. Why have you given up heroin? Surely it made you feel great. See what I mean? It's just because the logic around this drug is so twisted in the West. As I mentioned at the start of the video, you can date drinkers. In fact, my wife is a drinker. But having said that, she has maybe 5 or 6 alcoholic drinks per year. It just isn't on her radar. I can tell you maybe once every 3 months, my wife will say, ooh, I really fancy a cold beer. And I say, do you want me to go and get you one? And if she wants one, I will go and get one for the store for her. That was my wife texting. She must know I'm talking about it. So drinkers are fine, as long as they're not problem drinkers or full-blown alcoholics, because they're going to make your life miserable, even if they promise to change. Don't fall for that bullshit. You know it yourself. Wait until they are recovered before you start dating them. It's just, honestly, it's fraught with nightmares and heartache. And you might think at the start of the relationship or the start of the dating, you know, it's casual, it's their problem. I'm not going to interfere. I'm happy with my sobriety. But what happens if you fall for them? You know, what if you fall in love with them and you want to get into a proper relationship with them? What if you love everything about them apart from their drinking? That's hard to walk away from, but equally it's hard to stay with, because you're going to have to watch the person you love destroy themselves slowly but surely. It's not nice. Point 4 in the blog, the nerves. How do you deal with the nerves of going dating without using alcohol? This might shock you. The alcohol never improved your attractiveness in the first place. The alcohol didn't give you courage. It just made you a bit stupid. And if that's the look you're going for, stupid, then I think alcohol is probably the least of your problems. Can I be blunt with you, as I tend to do? You know what a guy thinks when he goes on a first date with a drunk woman? He thinks low quality, not girlfriend material, but I might try and have sex with her. this looks like it could be pretty easy to get her into bed. That's the honest way most guys will think. If you're on a date with a guy and you're drunk, he'll think, she's beneath me. This is not the sort of woman I'm going to be taking home to my parents, but she's quite attractive and I wouldn't mind adding her to the notch on my bedpost. And the other way around, you think a drunk guy is attractive to a man, to a woman? There are certain red flags for women. Women are more complex when it comes to relationships. Men are basically a switch. They're 1 or 0. They're on or off. A man sees you and he's attracted to you, then it's a done deal. It's that quick. It's like, oh, I like you. You could be a complete, Nazi. And he's going to try and find ways to look over that. Generally, that's just a generalization, but generally men are a switch, a 1 or a 0. Women are a dial. It goes from 0 to 100, but not linear. It doesn't go from 0 to 100 exactly like that. It can go up to 10 and then you say something and it goes back down to 5. Then you say something else and it goes up to 50. So women are always looking further ahead than men. They're looking at deeper things, not just physical attraction. Sure, that's important, but they're also looking at how you treat the waiting staff. How do you speak to the guy behind the bar? How do you speak to the valet? Do you talk about your friends? Is there evidence that you've got friends? How do you talk about your parents? What do you do for a living? And the subjects you bring up. You talk about how you love gambling. Ooh, big red flag to a woman there. This is a dangerous guy. This is not a solid guy. He likes gambling. Even if you've just over exaggerated, you've damaged yourself. That dial has gone down 10 points. Look like you have a problem with alcohol, another 10 points down. Talk about how you cruel to animals. Oh, way down. You see what I mean? It's a movable feast. So having something in your body that makes you a bit stupid, makes you liable to say things that you might regret, is not a great thing anyway. So as much as you might believe that alcohol has helped you in dating in the past, it hasn't. It's an illusion, just like everything else. It's bullshit. As I mentioned, the point 5, get rid of the black sheep much quicker. This is stating that you are a sober individual is a great filter to get rid of the problem drinkers. Because even the horniest problem drinker will look elsewhere. Even if you're super stunning. Because they don't, unless they're just looking to sleep with you, unless they see you as a short-term prospect, then maybe. But if they're looking for girlfriends or boyfriends, this is going to filter out a lot of the garbage. And finally, be the coach. This is not about dating, but it's basically about not being preachy. It works both ways. You don't want to go on a date with someone who spends the whole day asking you why you don't drink alcohol. It's boring, right? And it says a lot about them. But equally, nobody wants to go on a date with you and have you bleat on about what a saint you are and how you can't believe they drink that poison. There's a surefire way to kill the date. So don't preach. Don't ever talk about your sobriety unless someone invites you to. If someone you're on a date with is drinking too much, don't say, how much do you drink? Don't you think you should try and cut down on that? Don't you think you've got a bit of a problem? I was in your situation. Let me tell you about. They don't want to hear it. They do not want to hear it. But you can be the coach if one of your friends comes up to you and says, listen, I noticed that you quit drinking and your life seems to be going pretty good. Can you give me a few pointers? In that situation, by all means, become the stop drinking expert. So there you go. Some pointers for sober dating. It is possible and it's better than dating with alcohol. Trust me on that. If you're ready to get started and go sober dating, then the first thing you need to do is get sober. And I can help you with that. So sign up for today's quit drinking webinar at the website, stopdrinkingexpert.com. At the end, you will get your private invitation to join the program. It's the only way you can get in. And you'll also get a free copy of my best-selling book, Alcohol Lied to Me, as a free gift just for turning up. Don't forget, our live sessions every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss it. It's a really valuable appointment in the week. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
Thank you for watching. Before you leave, click that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get a notification when I next make a video. And if you're ready to take action on your drinking, go to stopdrinkingexpert.com. You'll find lots of free help and resources. And of course, the world's most successful and respected quit drinking program. Easy for me to say, but do your own research and the story is the same no matter where you look. Proven Expert rates us 5 stars, excellent, from 1,566 verified reviews. Trustpilot says the same, 5 stars, from 1,450 verified reviews. Reviews.io, 5 stars. It's the same everywhere you look. So if you want something that actually works, sign up for today's free quit drinking webinar. Book your place and you'll even get a copy of my best-selling book, Alcohol Lied to Me, as a free gift just for turning up. Remember, the best time to have quit drinking was 10 years ago. The next best time is right now.